Hello, hello, welcome back to Artifact Adventures number 2, right where we left off. Now, I was cut a little short. I was talking about lots of stuff, but I want to kind of refocus here. We've explored the town. The town is pretty much, it's going to be a hub for us. But there was this cave up here, and immediately we find one of these pesky golems. But first, random encounter. And this random encounter also has an enemy with a star, which I wanted to kind of touch on a little before, because I kept the end of one battle in, thinking that star was super important. Turns out the star just means that the monster is like a leader. More HP for that enemy, stronger hits. Have to be careful with those, because they can be 2 or 3 times stronger than the average enemy of that name. And you can see I'm cutting out a lot of battles here. The game does have a pretty high random encounter rate. Not uncommon for this genre. It's a little tight, but you need to build experience. The encounters are pretty quick though. We've got our first, I guess you call it like artifact. It calls itself a spirit. So artifacts, maybe they're spirits. I did end up giving it to Monkey here, thinking like, oh, he'll have an attack. This is a critical mistake that hopefully you don't make when you do this playthrough. As I had mentioned before, whoever ends up picking up the artifact is the one that gets it. It's not a full party thing. And that artifact requires MP, and Monk doesn't have any, so he will never be able to use that spell, the Burning Ember spell. So his fire magic, or the game's fire magic, low-level fire magic, I guess you'd say, completely, unusable by me. We have our first town here. That's not the main castle town, which is interesting that, it's not that far away. They sell healing items here, a special healing item, healing water. You can buy it here. It's 300 gold for this healing water. I don't end up buying any, but I do find some later. And so I'll let you know, it's like a full party heal from the look of it. I didn't use it, but you select to use it, and it lets you choose the whole party. So probably a full party here, heal. One of the reasons why the airship might be a bad choice, we just picked up from that kid. He gave us a map piece, or like a little piece of paper. Using that piece of paper on the world map teleports you to the city. So effectively making the airship choice maybe not so good. You do have to walk your way to the city the first time, but once you get here, you can teleport back. And these guys, these old men, they kind of look like the Jar Goblin, but they're actually somebody completely different. They're shady mofos. You ask them for the secret to the water, and basically they say that it's because of an artifact, and they'll give you 10k to help them steal the artifact. Half of it up front. I turned them down because that seemed really sketchy. Half of it up front does mean you're getting at least 5k for helping them. And there might be the choice of taking the money and then not helping them, which is something I didn't consider at the time, but thinking back on it, I could have tried. Once you tell them no, though, you can't go back and tell them yes. Pick up an Elixir of Life here. It's a plus 10 to your max HP. It's good to get those early. This guy is protecting the artifact. He asks you, he says, you know that we need this artifact to survive. Are you still going to take it? And I say no. And he says, are you ever going to come back for it? And I say no. And I say, I'm not going to come back for it. And then I can never get it, as far as I know. He gives us the Shimmering Shield. Shimmering Shield. As a gift. Which is cool. I take it. I equipped it. It's a plus 5 defense. Not that great of an item. I later find out why it's a good item. It's not because... And these guys are gone. They left. I'm not going to help them. They left town. You can't report them, which is kind of weird. But whatever. Rest at the inn here. And we talked to that old man. I kind of brushed past it. We were talking to him. He said his son went missing in the cave. Sounds like a story progression to me. Turns out a lot of the stuff that you think is story progression, simply side quests. And this game has a lot of side quests. None of them apparently seem to be required. We got our first fight in here. I kept it in because this is the first time we're going to be fighting this enemy. And also, if I remember right, we'll see. I think I level up after this. I do indeed. I level up. I want to keep that in there. Just to let you know that when you level up, it doesn't tell you what you get. Which is kind of a shame. And then here's our first spider enemy, which poisons us. Our first time getting a status effect. He does give us an antidote, or an antidote item, cleansing tonic. Very lucky because they don't have to drop those. In fact, not all of them do, and usually you get stuck with the poison and you're stuck with it until your character drops dead, which is a real pain. Now this is a side quest area. You don't have to come here, but it's a great place to go early on. The enemies are pretty weak. You get a lot of experience, and you do find something in here. Oh, there's the kid. Hey, no Oh, he's dead. That's right, he's dead. There's an artifact down there, which I'm sure I'll be going back to. I do check out the sword you get from this guy, and it is a lot better than the sword you have right now. There's something here suspicious on the ground. You might have noticed it. And by the way, sorry for those little Skype sounds. I end up turning off Skype after that. Hopefully you realize that's my Skype and not yours. There is a hidden staircase here. I couldn't believe it. The ground looked a little different, so I went and I thought maybe you'll find something there. Like maybe that's where the boy died or something. No. It's a hidden staircase, and I hit the wrong button here. I talked about that in the first episode. The S button opens up the dev menu, but if you just hit it again, it goes away. It doesn't actually activate cheats or anything. So, hopefully in the Steam version that's coming out on June 1st, probably by the time you watch this, it's already out. Hopefully that's been taken care of. And that's not still a button you can hit to open up dev menu. Maybe the game has spots you can get stuck, and dev menu is required to teleport you out. I don't know. Not sure, but I don't like that it's there. As I mentioned, lots of random battles here. We did get what we came for. We found the boy. He's dead. We obviously didn't get to bring him back. I don't know. I don't think there's a way you can get to him in time. As far as I know, he's always dead. I come back later. He's still dead. You know, I don't think there's anything you can do for him. Which is a shame. It'd be nice if you could bring the healing water from the city and then he's better. Yay. No. Because the city sells healing water. You think that'd be a part of the quest. As far as I know, not the case. Another level here. You do level up pretty quick, which is nice. Each level makes a big difference. You get a lot of extra HP every time you level up. It doesn't refill your HP when you level up, though. Some RPGs, that's a thing where you hit a level, your stats, go up, and then you get a full heal. Not the case in this game. Not the case. Make our way back here to the city. You can see there's another town to the upper left. If I had the airship, I could have gotten there right away. Maybe that's what the airship's usefulness is. You can jump to those future towns, buy better weapons, better armor early. But I don't know. I still kind of like the Key of Time instead, which we will be learning what the Key of Time does in the future, in the near future. So, if you've been waiting from last episode with waiting with bated breath. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Don't worry, the time of the key is near. This guy, you give him, he says I want you to keep the sword. Now, I might have read that wrong, but every time I read that, it says, I want you to keep the sword as a souvenir. And then he takes the sword. So, I think he means he wants to take the sword. I might have to go back and read that a 15th time. Because I'm pretty sure he says, I want you to keep the sword. And then he takes the sword from you. So that's unfortunate because that was a really cool weapon. Pretty early on, the Traveler's Sword was really strong. You could have kept using it, not come back and told him. I don't know what happens if you tell him that the son's alright. I didn't try that. I told him the truth. I said the son's dead. I'm not sure if you tell him the son's alright if he lets you keep the sword. Maybe he's like, oh, the son must have given it to you as a present. Ah, no problem. I don't know. This game has a lot of little choices that I think a second playthrough would really help to kind of figure out what's going on. Now, you can see I follow the path here like I always do. And because I'm following this path, I actually end up missing something. Which, we'll see in the future. Just kind of, get you excited about that. I do come back to the castle. I come back to the castle to drop off the goblins, what do they call them, the jar goblins. And you can see what happens when you give this guy all the goblins. He takes them. I told him I'm not ready to go. He says you can always live here with me. I don't want to live here in your jar, buddy. But I switch my character. We get the artifact of sun and moon. Turns morning to evening, evening to morning. Basically, this game does have a day and night cycle. That spell lets you switch from day to night. And I do go back and explore some places I checked in the day. I go back at night. And there are minimal differences. If there's something major, I will include it. For the most part, people are sleeping in their bed and they don't talk to you when they're asleep. And occasionally you see one person has switched location. So far though, nobody has said anything unique or different at night than they say in the day. having experienced the spider poison, I come back for some cleansing tonics. And I know you're excited to find out what was down that set of stairs. Some of the other people who played through this game might not have seen that. The stairs are there. They're hidden. You have to go to that spot and slam on your use button. And it reveals the stairs. You can see here, this shield sells for 3,000 gold. That's the second use, as far as I know, of that shield, is selling it for a lot of money. Because its defensive powers are very limited, and to sell it for 3,000, there's a shield of equivalent value for like 50 gold in this shop. The hide buckler, I think, is like 1 point weaker, and it's 50 bucks. And then the next town, yeah, you can see it lowers your defense by 1 point for a 50 gold shield, and that 3,000 gold shield, you know, obviously you're meant to sell it. I'm pretty sure that's the case. We buy the relic from this guy. This is the blue tier relic. It's basically ice magic, weak, one target. You might notice we're getting kind of a full suite of magic. I kind of wish I had collected 2 mages, because you get a lot of magic, and I did the dev menu thing again. I'm sorry for that. At some point, you know, I quit doing it because my fat fingers don't slide over that key. You can see on the left is the cave we'd already been in. It's sitting there. We go up here and look at this. Something we had missed before. Open the door using the key of time. So this is what the key of time does. We have frozen time for ourselves. We live eternally. The frozen can't interact with the world. You must listen to our words. Get 1,000 gold and a traveler's hat. The traveler's hat is better than what we have now. It's not going to carry us to the end game, but it's better than what we started with. And the hide cap can be moved on. I give it the Healy. Swap it for a cleansing tonic. I don't think the healer gets any benefit from using basically the poison removal, the antidote. It still just hits one target. It still removes poison. The medical herbs, you do get a benefit. So here are a bunch of stairs. And we go in that stair, and we're back here to the same guy. He says nothing new. I'm like, what the heck? What happened? Turns out, you know, you can access this one, but only this one. All the rest are locked. Now, if you've played some of the Dragon Quest games, you might be familiar with this. It's a shrine. It's a common thing in Dragon Quest games where you go to like a certain area, you find a shrine, you go in the shrine, and it takes you back to like the central shrine. So you can fast travel using the shrine. Again, making the airship not so useful. Not so useful. A real surprise, because you think in a game like, you know, I don't know, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Lufia, in the Fortress of Doom, Breath of Fire, any of those kinds of RPGs that you kind of hark back to. Airship is huge. Airship is like game defining. Like, you got the airship, the whole map is open to you. You know, you can go to all the cool cities, you can go to extra stuff. Now, I don't know because I didn't take the airship, but it seems like the airship might not be such a good choice. Now, we come down here, and I can see one of those goblins. I come chase him down. We get into a fight with some guys that look a little bit more intimidating than the rest of the enemies we've been fighting thus far. And it turns out they are indeed quite a bit more intimidating. We're in trouble in this fight, and this is kind of a game-defining moment for me. I wasn't expecting this, and I'm actually happy it happened. You know, especially this early. In most JRPGs, you have this big fear of death because death is game over. I managed to escape. I come over here and I'm like, can I use that warp thing? You can't use it unless you're on the world map. Can I use the return spell? You can't use it unless the guy's alive and you're not in a dungeon. So I get the goblin. We fight this kind of vagina tree and the tiki man, and we die. And the game goes silent. No sound. And I think, black screen of death, game over. But, lo and behold, you get back to town. The game will take you back to town. This guy can't revive anybody, unfortunately. So I have to make my way back to the other castle, where there is a man who will revive your team members. But you do not game over from death. In fact, you can kind of bum rush areas like that one I was just at. And if you're lucky and you can avoid encounters, you might be able to jump in and grab some late game treasure, which is a tactic I haven't tried yet, but it's something that you kind of have to keep in mind. This guy will bring back people. You have to put him at the front of the party. As far as I can tell, what he charges you is based on how much, like, HP the people he's reviving have. Because the guy with more HP costs more to revive. Maybe that's not the case, but they're all about the same level, so I don't think it's level-based. Anyway, at this point, I call it here. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Feel free to check out the links below in the description. Have a good one. Goodbye.